Collision, a victory that shook the room. Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson send fans into a frenzy. The lights inside the grand hall dimmed for just a moment, long enough to create a breathless silence that felt almost unreal. Thousands of eyes were fixed on the stage. Cameras hovered, flashes flickered, and somewhere in the audience, fans clutched their phones, already recording history before it even happened. Then the name was announced. Jamie Dornan. For half a second, time froze. And then the room exploded. Applause thundered through the hall like a wave crashing against the shore. Cheers erupted, rising so loud that they drowned out the music meant to accompany the announcement. Jamie Dornan, visibly stunned, placed a hand over his mouth, his eyes wide with disbelief. He stood up slowly, as if unsure whether his legs would carry him forward. But before he took his first step toward the stage, something happened, something that would send the internet into total meltdown within minutes. Jamie turned instinctively toward Dakota Johnson. She was already smiling. A look that spoke volumes. Dakota Johnson rose from her seat and pulled Jamie into a warm, spontaneous embrace. It wasn't staged. It wasn't rehearsed. It was the kind of moment that happens when two people share years of history, trust, and unspoken understanding. Cameras caught everything. Jamie laughed softly, shaking his head in disbelief, while Dakota leaned in and whispered something only he could hear. Whatever it was, it made him smile even wider. And just like that, fans around the world collectively lost their minds. Within seconds, social media lit up. Are we seeing this right now? The chemistry is still there, fearful face. This is not a drill. The reunion that fans never stopped hoping for had just become reality, on one of the biggest stages in the industry. The walk to the stage. As Jamie made his way toward the podium, the applause refused to die down. Every step felt symbolic. This wasn't just a win, it was a full-circle moment. For years, Jamie Dornan had been underestimated, labeled, boxed in, doubted. Some saw him only through the lens of a single franchise, ignoring the depth, vulnerability, and range he brought to his work. But tonight was different. Tonight, the industry was standing. And applauding. When Jamie finally reached the microphone, he paused. He exhaled. His voice, when it came, was steady, but emotional. I didn't expect this, he admitted, glancing briefly back toward Dakota, who met his eyes and nodded encouragingly. I really didn't. That glance alone sent another shockwave through the audience. A speech that touched hearts. Jamie spoke about his journey, the risks he took, the moments of doubt, the projects that challenged him creatively and personally. He spoke about growth, about learning to trust himself, about finding meaning beyond fame. Then came the moment no one expected. There are people who walk into your life at certain moments and change the direction of it forever, he said. Not because of the roles you play, but because of the support they give you when the cameras are off. He paused. Dakota, thank you. The reaction was instant and explosive. Dakota, caught off guard, pressed a hand to her chest. She laughed, slightly embarrassed, but her eyes shimmered. Fans screamed. Some even stood up, applauding her as if she had just won the award herself. Because in a way, she had. The history everyone remembers. To the world, Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson would always be linked. Their on-screen partnership had defined an era, sparked endless conversations, and created one of the most iconic pairings in modern pop culture. But what many fans admired most wasn't just the chemistry, it was the respect. Through years of interviews, press tours, and public scrutiny, they had remained supportive of each other. No scandals, no bitterness, just quiet loyalty. And tonight, that loyalty was visible for everyone to see. Backstage, where the magic continued. Once the ceremony moved on, the real story unfolded behind the scenes. Backstage footage, later leaked and shared millions of times, showed Jamie stepping off the stage, trophy still in hand, only to be immediately pulled into another hug by Dakota. "You did it," she said, grinning. "I always knew you would." Jamie laughed. "You're biased." "Maybe," she replied, "but I'm also right." Their exchange was light, natural, and full of warmth. No tension, no awkwardness, just two people celebrating a hard-earned victory together. Fans dissected every frame, every smile, every touch, every shared laugh. The internet goes wild. By the time the ceremony ended, the phrase, "Jamie and Dakota," was trending worldwide. TikTok flooded with edits. Twitter erupted with theories. Instagram Reels replayed the hug from every possible angle. Some fans were nostalgic. "This feels like coming home." Others were emotional. "Why does this mean so much to me?" And some were simply overwhelmed. "I am not okay." Media outlets rushed to publish headlines, each more dramatic than the last. But none could truly capture the emotional impact of what fans had witnessed. This wasn't about romance. It was about connection. A quiet moment away from the cameras. Later that night, long after the red carpet was cleared and the crowd dispersed, Jamie and Dakota were spotted sitting together at a quiet after-party. No grand gestures, no spotlight. Just conversation. Witnesses described them laughing, reminiscing, talking about future projects, life, and everything in between. At one point, Jamie raised his glass in a small toast. "To surviving it all," he said. Dakota clinked her glass against his. "And becoming better because of it." What this win truly means. Jamie Dornan's grand prize wasn't just an award, it was validation. Validation of his evolution as an artist. Validation of his resilience. Validation of his refusal to be defined by a single chapter. And having Dakota Johnson by his side during that moment made it even more powerful, not because of what fans wanted them to be, but because of what they already were. Allies. Friends. Survivors of the same storm. Fans, still not calm. Days later, fans were still talking about it. Fan art appeared. Long essays were written. Montages set to emotional music circulated endlessly. Because moments like these don't happen often. Moments where authenticity breaks through the polished surface of celebrity culture. Moments where a simple hug says more than 1,000 interviews ever could. An ending that feels like a beginning. As the night closed and the headlines continued to roll in, one thing was clear. This victory wasn't just Jamie Dornan's. It belonged to everyone who believed in growth, in second chances, in genuine human connection. And somewhere in that unforgettable night, between applause and silence, between memory and hope, Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson reminded the world why some stories never truly end. They just evolve.